Hey guys, welcome back to Nancy's Homestyle Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how I make egg bites using my Instant Pot. It's a couple simple ingredients. The steps are very easy. Let's get started. Let's review the ingredients. In my blender cup, I have 6 eggs, have half a cup of cottage cheese, 3/4 cup of shredded cheese. Today I'm using Gruyere cheese, but you can use cheddar, Swiss, whatever you like. I have about a tablespoon of chopped fresh chives, some lemon pepper, a 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream, and we're gonna need some bacon bits. And what I do is I buy the big bag of bacon bits at Costco, and then I portion them into little 1/2 cup servings into little Ziploc bags. I store them in my freezer, and so they're just readily available to pull out. Because I don't know if you know, but I was surprised after opening the bag of bacon bits from Costco. I think on the back it says you must use it within a week. I mean, I kept them in my refrigerator, but I never went through them that fast. So then I started putting them in these little portion bags, and it just works great because now I have them available all the time. So let's get the mixture going. So we have the 6 eggs in here. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of heavy cream. And 1/2 cup of cottage cheese, because that's what I meant. Hopefully I didn't say 1/2 cup. So 1/4 cup of heavy cream, 1/2 cup of cottage cheese. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the chopped chives. And I'm just gonna sprinkle with a little of this lemon pepper. I think the lemon gives it a little bit of brightness, and I do like the pepper flavor. And it's just something different instead of just the usual salt and pepper. So let's blend this up. Okay, just a quick blend. I like putting the chives in there because, as you'll see when you bake these egg bites, the bacon will tend to settle to the bottom of the silicone tray. And I want those green bits of chives to be evenly distributed throughout the egg bite. So that's why I put it in the blender. But if you don't like that and you want more of a traditional small minced chive, you could go ahead and just add it directly to the silicone baking cup and not put it through the blender. And then I'm just gonna add the cheese and give it another good blend. Okay, that is done. I'm going to clean this up and switch out, bring my Instant Pot over here, then we'll fill the trays. These silicone trays are made by Instant Pot, the brand that also makes the multi-cooker, and I think I picked these up at Target. They're relatively inexpensive, and these have lids. If you don't have lids and you're gonna do 2 trays and stack them, go ahead and put some foil or parchment paper between the layers so you don't get condensation dripping into your eggs. I like to spray them just a little bit with olive oil spray or avocado oil, just to be sure that they don't stick. And I'm gonna start with one, and what I do is just sprinkle a little bit of bacon in the bottom of each one. You could use sausage, Canadian bacon, chorizo. I'm actually going to be making a chorizo recipe here, so look for that. Make it with ground beef because I like the texture better, but that would be great in here. And you could add some diced green chilies and maybe use a pepper jack or a jack cheese in the eggs instead of Gruyere, so that would be good. Okay, then we want to fill these 3/4 of the way up, because it's gonna expand a little bit as they bake. They're gonna puff up. Now, I like these egg bites out of the silicone tray and made in the pressure cooker a lot more than the ones that I have tried in the past that I've made in a muffin tin. I feel like the ones that you bake in the muffin tin in the oven tend to be a little tough. And these, to me, are just really light and they keep their moisture level. So I just really like them a lot more than the ones from the oven. Okay, I still have some egg mixture in there. So I'm gonna put the lid on this one and I'm gonna set it aside. And I'm just gonna spray a couple of these cavities and then actually, I'm just gonna pour the egg mixture in and then I'll throw the bacon bits on top. They're gonna sink to the bottom anyway. But this way, I'm not putting extra bacon bits in some of these cavities that I'm not gonna use. And this recipe is easy to double. So this is 6 eggs. We'll see how many, oh, look at that. It's gonna go over. Okay, let me see how many I can get. This is almost gonna make 2 full trays. So there's 7 in each of these molds or trays. So that's a little over a dozen egg bites. Okay, so I got 6 out of that one. So let me go ahead and add the bacon on top. It's just gonna sink. And if it doesn't, that's okay. And maybe this is gonna end up being the way to do it and they end up just being somewhere in the middle. So I don't know. This may be a happy accident. We might be onto something. Okay, and I still have some bites left. So this was half a cup in this bag, so we haven't even used that much. So in my Instant Pot, I put 1 cup of water because that's what we're gonna need in order to do the steam. So I'm just gonna stack these directly on top of each other. And because I have the lids, I don't need to put anything in between. But again, if you don't have the lids, don't worry. Just put a piece of foil or parchment over each one to keep the condensation and moisture from going down into your eggs. So I'm just gonna set it in there. Okay, grab our lid. I always check the seal of the lid to make sure it's seated correctly because I do take this seal out and make things like yogurt and stuff. And so I don't want the seal that I've used for savory foods in my yogurt. So because I replace it all the time, I really want to double check and make sure. And then I also make sure that this little vent is free moving because this is what is your safety valve and is going to seal and everything. Okay, so I'm going to put pressure cook and then I'm going to do custom and then on high. And I'm just pushing the button and now I can turn the dial and it's gonna count up the minutes. So because I have 2 trays in there, I'm gonna do it for 10 minutes. If I just had 1 tray, I would do it for 8 minutes. And then I just push to set and make sure my little switch up here is on the seal position, which it is, and then hit start. So it takes about 10 minutes or so for the water in the bottom to come up to a boil and create steam and for enough steam to fill the Instant Pot to pop up the pressure valve and create that steam, and then it'll count down for 10 minutes. After the 10 minutes is up, I'm gonna go ahead and let it release for 5 minutes and then we'll be right back. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna let this sit here for 5 minutes and do what they call a natural release. We're not gonna change anything, just let it sit here and watch this timer count up to the 5-minute mark. At the 5-minute mark, go ahead and turn your Instant Pot off and then move your valve in the back to vent. Let all the steam come out. Take the lid off. You'll see your little pressure thing, your safety valve or whatever it's called. It'll go down so you know that all the steam is gone. Take the lid off, and then I'm gonna let it sit there for a couple more minutes just to kind of cool a little bit before I pull it out and set it on the tray, and then I will show you what they look like. One of the things I most like about these egg bites is not only are they quick and easy, but I like the convenience of them just being in a sealed container in the refrigerator. I could pop a couple onto a plate, throw them in the microwave for 30 seconds to 60 seconds, and I have a healthy protein-packed breakfast. So this is a really good go-to recipe, especially for meal prep. I wish I would have known this before I retired and I was working. These would travel to work so easy. And it's hard just to eat two. Like, I could eat a couple, trust me. So the 5 minutes of the natural release process are done, and I'm gonna go ahead and power off the Instant Pot, and this little switch back here, I'm gonna pull it forward and all the steam is gonna come out. And there's a little safety valve in the back here that I keep talking about. When the Instant Pot is under pressure status, that little red dot pops up. And when all the pressure is gone, it depresses. And it's also the thing inside the lid that I was showing you when I said to check your seal. You want to make sure that that little safety valve freely pops up and down. I have had it before where I've cooked something in the Instant Pot and it was really full, like a chili or something, and it kind of splattered up and clogged up where that vent goes up and down, and so it wouldn't move freely, and that ended up being a problem. So I just always check it to make sure. This one is done, so we can go ahead and take the lid off. Always open it away from you. So I don't know if you can tell from the camera here in front of me or the one to the side, but the lid is kind of raised up on this top tray, which tells me I overfilled the cavities a little bit, and I would have had enough to do all 14 cavities if I wouldn't have overfilled them. So live and learn. I'll do better next time. I'm just gonna let these sit here for a few minutes and then I will take them out. This is a little trick my husband taught me. Put 2 forks going opposite and it lifts right out. Thank you, honey. So they were puffed up when the cooking time was done, and as they have cooled, you can see that the eggs kind of settled a little bit. This one's still really full. But that is it. Now we have 2 trays of egg bites. I am going to use a spoon and kind of run it around the edge of the egg bite so it lifts out. And I'll do it again. Just take your spoon and just slightly run it around. It comes right out. And I've done it where I haven't sprayed the inside with the nonstick spray and they have kind of stuck, so I just always err on the side of caution and do a little bit of spray. Okay, and let's try it first without the salsa. But look how pretty those look. They're just nice and creamy, like scrambled eggs. And got a little bit of bacon in there. I wonder how hot they're gonna be. Okay, we're gonna find out. They almost like melt in your mouth. And I do like that I mix the chives in the blender with the eggs because there is like this nice little onion undertone throughout the whole bite. And at the bottom, I have some of the bacon. But actually, guys, how I sprinkled the bacon on top, it actually didn't settle to the bottom. It kind of went halfway through. So I think that's the winner right there. Don't put it in the bottom like I showed you. Put it on top. Get the saltiness of the bacon, the Gruyere, like everything comes through fantastic. Let's try with a little bit of my homemade salsa. You could put some avocado with it too. That would be great. Get some more healthy fats from that. But yeah, no carbs. This is a great breakfast. Okay, bite with salsa and eggs. So good. So I urge you to try it. If you have an Instant Pot and you haven't invested in these little trays, I think they were like $7 or $8 a piece. And if you go to, you know, the Starbucks coffee shop and you buy 2 of these egg bites, I think you're spending $6 for one time. So here you can have 14, so that's 7 servings. And you're just buying the trays. Total money saver. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. If you like this content, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. And I will come back next week with another recipe from my kitchen.